What's up, students? It's your boy, the Philly Golden Teacher. Welcome back to class. Today I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about liners. I'll break down why they're so useful, how to set them up properly, and some tips on using them on a few different setups. Now, liners are completely optional and they're not necessary for cultivation in a tub environment. What they will do is help reduce side pinning from occurring. And for me personally, I like to line all my tubs with a liner so that I don't have to deal with the hassle of harvesting side pins. If you ever harvested side pins before, they're a pain in the ass and ain't nobody got time for that. It's going to be messy, it's quite tedious to clean the substrate off of the fruits. So I believe in setting yourself up with a liner, which only takes like a few minutes to do, will save you a lot of time later on when it comes to harvesting. So why do side pins occur when you don't use a liner? As your substrate mixture, we call this the cake, colonizes over time, it will use up the water content within the cake and it will cause the cake to shrink. When your cake shrinks, it pulls away from the walls of the tub. This separation will create little pockets of perfect microclimate conditions that trigger pinning. And when you have a lot of those pockets on the side, your cake's going to prefer to pin on the side rather than the surface. So in order to prevent this, we're going to use a liner which will block those microclimate conditions and help prevent the side pinnings from occurring. The proper use of a liner will allow the cake to adhere to the liner as it shrinks, and the liner will shrink along with it, and this blocks those microclimate conditions from happening, forcing the mycelium to utilize the surface in order to pin from. Now, for the best results, you want to use a double layer liner. In this case here, I'm using the whole trash bag intact. I didn't cut anything into it. I'm going to line the tub here so that there's 2 layers of the liners going into the tub. Now what this is going to do is, as the cake shrinks, 1 layer will stick to the cake and 1 layer will adhere to the sides of the tub. Now if you're using only a 1 layer liner, what's going to happen is, as it shrinks, you're going to get some parts of it will stick to the cake, some parts of it will stick to the walls, and you're not going to get the best coverage to block side pins if you're utilizing only 1 layer liners. Now once you have your liner in your tub, go ahead and spawn out your grain spawn. I'm using 2 quarts of grain spawn for this 12-quart tub here. I'm going to skip this part here so that you don't have to watch through this. If you're curious about how I spawn, you can check out my spawn the book video. Alright, once you're finished spawning out your tubs, in my case, I like to trim down the liner for these little shoe boxes. What this is going to do is allow light to come in at the surface level in order to help the pins know which direction to grow up towards. My 12-quart tubs, I typically have an opaque lid onto them, so it blocks out a lot of the light coming in from above them. So having the liners trimmed on this is going to allow light coming from the side, and that'll kind of help give direction for the pins to grow upwards. After I finish trimming the liner, what I'll go ahead and do is I'll pack down the substrate against the liner. I'm going to tap down lightly on each side of this and make sure that the substrate is sticking to the liner, and that way the liner can do its job. Alright, we're going to go fast forward to a ready to harvest tub. As you can see here, the liner did its job. 1 liner has adhered to the cake while 1 layer of liner has stuck to the walls of the tub. Now at this point I just go ahead and remove that 2nd liner from the walls of the tub. We're not going to need it anymore. But as you can see, the liner that's stuck to the cake has blocked a lot of side pinning from occurring. Now there's a few side pins here and there, mainly because I think I probably didn't pack down the cake enough to the liner, but 90% of the time it's going to reduce side pinning. So I'd rather have a few side pins to deal with than to have a whole tub filled with side pins. So you can see the liner did its job. It's adhered to the cake here. You get a few side pins here and there because some microclimate conditions probably got in there and happened to form those pins. But it's not a big deal. It's only a few fruits here and there that you really have to deal with. It saves a lot of time in my opinion, so this is why I really like to use liners for my tubs. As you can see, the liner stuck to the cake. I can peel it away here, but I really prefer not to. I'm going to use this liner still for the next few flushes to kind of help keep it blocked. But yeah, that's the importance of liners. So just going to harvest a few of these side pins and put the liner back on and run it towards this next flush. Here I'll show you guys how I line my 66 quart mono tubs. What I would do is flip the tub over and put the liner over on top. What I'm basically doing is molding the liner to shape in order to fit perfectly inside of the tub. The same concept applies here. I don't cut the liners at all. Once I get the liner into shape, I will tape the sides of the liner to itself. I've seen some people stick liners into their tubs and tape the liners to the sides of their tubs to hold it up. I don't really like doing this because it prevents the liner from shrinking along with the cake as it colonizes. This method I'm doing here will have the liner free from the walls of the tub in order to do what they need to do as the cake shrinks. What I do instead is I'll initially mist the sides of the walls to help make the liner stick to the sides, and that'll make spawning a lot easier. And another thing with these mono tubs, I don't really cut the liners for my mono tubs. The reason being is the tubs have clear lids on top of them, and the clear lids will allow light to come in from overhead, and that gives directions for the pins to grow upwards. You can trim the liner if you want, but I don't find it necessary just because of the clear lid situation. Now for the shoe boxes, the lids aren't clear, so that's kind of why I cut the liners on my shoe boxes instead. This pretty much wraps up this video on liners. If you learned something or enjoyed my video, please give it a like. If not, that's okay too. I appreciate your time for watching either way. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you love using liners like I do, or if you do something different or get creative with your liners. I'd love to hear about it. If you're interested in learning more about mycology, I recommend you to join my Discord community. There's over 6,000 members, and we aim to provide a beginner-friendly place to get help and share experiences with cultivation. If you're interested in supporting me, you can check out my Patreon, where I upload exclusive content and videos that's not on YouTube. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.